Today we're making another building in historic Fredericksburg. In real life, the bank and hat store are accompanied by the old Central Drug Store. However, I think it looks a little plain, so instead I'll be recreating the Schwarz building that's located up the road. It has a more interesting roof facade, and I like the sand green and dark red balcony. Maybe the drugstore will have its chance another day. First, we'll start with a simple sidewalk, and then add some plates to mark out the walls. I gave the floor a checkered pattern using tan and pearl gold. The old drugstore was built by a jeweler/watchmaker, so I thought I could turn my building into a clock store. I once again used tan masonry bricks on the walls with a smooth patch in the center, but this time I went with sand green windows and door frames. I thought cuckoo clocks would be a fitting clock type to sell, so I'll use these modified bricks on the side wall to attach them. The first one is fairly basic with a rounded bottom. Next we have a square one in tan with brown accents, and I also made it in brown with gold accents. Lastly, we have a really fancy one with lots of gold accents and a decorative bottom piece. I got these designs from Jeremy Zimmer, who has them for free on Rebrickable. Next I'll add a simple table to hold this great cash register piece in tan and sand green. It was found in a few of the early Harry Potter sets and works perfect for this building. In front of that, I'll make a little stand to hold some smaller clocks for sale. First is a medium nougat one with a small clock tile from the Sanctum Sanctorum set. Next we can add a small Cogsworth one from the Bell's Storybook Adventure set. Finally we have this great metallic gold pentagonal clock tile from the Mini Disney Castle set that I placed on some white bricks. All three of these prints were kind of expensive, but I think it was worth it for some added detail in the store. Oh, I almost forgot the merchant. I think the accountant from the Boutique Hotel set looks sophisticated enough to be a clockmaker. So you can't have a clock store without some big grandfather clocks for sale, and that's what we can place along the other side of the store. The first one is based off of a design from Jay Steffer on Rebrickable, and I made another one with a few other changes. Next we have the clock from the Bookshop Modular, which is a great design. I want to put a big clock on display in the front window here, but for that I'll need to use a bracket on the side wall, which other than that is a pretty standard wall. This one is based off a design from Lego Ori on Rebrickable and uses some arches and a boomerang piece to really stand out. I just modified the top a bit. And we can just attach it to the wall. Just attach it to the wall. There we go. I forgot to film the clock in the right window, and I also forgot to add the sticker to it, but it's the clock from the Newbury Haunted High set. I think the guy from the Bookshop set looks like he might be in the market for a clock. Let's add the sand green frames for the display windows. And then the door, which is recessed back into the building a little, creates a nice entryway. Above these, we'll add a row of windows in dark red. Oh, I forgot a couple. I thought these rounded pillars using some Technic pieces in dark red would be a nice touch on the corners. After building the set, I realized the boomerang clock was a little too tall for the display window, so I ended up swapping it with the clock from the bookshop. Next, let's work on the posts holding up the balcony. These Technic axle connectors are conveniently in sand green from the Bird of Paradise set and will work great for our color scheme. I then made these joists that will connect the posts with a Technic pin to the modified brick on the front of the store. Let's go ahead and tie all the windows together with some long plates, and then we can attach the balcony flooring to the studs sticking up on the 4 joists. Technically this puts the post 1/5 of a stud out of alignment, but I'm not worried about it, and everything is quite sturdy now. These tiles further connect the posts, and this section is just the rest of the balcony. On top we have these great looking fence pieces in dark red, which were in the Spring Lantern Festival set. Since the balcony connects to the front of the building with these joists, we'll have to do something a little different with the second floor. Instead of the entire second floor coming off together, the front wall will stay connected with the first floor. So let's go ahead and add the doors and windows in sand green to the second floor, along with the masonry sections and corner walls. Next we can add some more sand green posts, only 2 high this time instead of 3. Before adding the joists, let's put on some macaroni tiles to imitate the arched lintels on the Schwarz building. Then come the joists and the roof on top. These front tiles once again further lock everything in place. Now let's add that roof facade that intrigued me so much. The corners each use 2 of the small inverted arches, and the center section uses 4 of them in opposing directions to recreate that unique look. Since part of the second floor is connected to the front here, let's go ahead and furnish it with a few items. A dark blue swivel armchair can go in the corner. The other side can get a simple table with a radio on top. And a houseplant always brings some life into the space. For the upstairs, we'll start with a nice white and pearl gold rug on the floor. The walls are all pretty simple with more masonry bricks and sand green windows. However, the roof line does stair step down from that front facade, which you can see here. Let's put a floor lamp in the corner, and then a dining area next to it. The chairs are dark blue, and the table is gold and white. If you can't tell, that's the color scheme for the second floor. There's a nice bed in dark blue, along with a bedside table and a lamp. On the other side, I'll add a small kitchen. Although the oven controls look a little modern for the time frame, I might have to remove that tile. Finally, I thought the grandfather from the Lunar New Year tradition set was a suitable resident to live above all those grandfather clocks. For the last wall, I included a door so he can actually access his home, along with an overhang above. This means the building sticks out past the half base plate boundary, but I already have a plan for what's going next door, so it won't be a problem. Here you can see how the second floor attaches to the first floor / front wall. This is the first time I've tried this technique, and it seems to work just fine. It also looks like some stairs might be needed in the future. Lastly, the roof will simply rest on the tiles that are sticking out from the front wall. And now we have ourselves a clock store. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I think it's a great addition to the city. The first floor is packed with a large assortment of clocks for sale, and the residence upstairs has everything you would need. Well, except for a bathroom. I think it looks great next to the hat store and bank, even if it's a different building than what's actually there in real life. Who knows, we might build that old central drugstore another day. Feel free to let me know what you think about it in the comments, along with any ideas you might have for the future, and definitely stay tuned for the next building in historic Fred-BRICKS-burg. See you next time.